shit, it's Tuesday this week. The past week has been just crazy. I've had PTO. I've done like, I think this is like the fourth recording I've done in like a week.
Dang.
Drank way too much. But thank you
Hell
for
yeah.
spending your Tuesday with me.
Of course, man. Thanks for
Oh
having
my
us.
god, yeah, this rocks.
Dude, of course. Like this album's killer, and I'm stoked to talk about it. And everything else you guys got going on. We'll just have a good time.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait.
Other than that, if everyone has a brewski ready or a beverage ready to do this opening crack with,
We got it.
All right. So what we'll do here is I'll count us down. We'll crack it, and then I'll do the little intro, and then bring the four of you in.
All right, awesome.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This week, in typical fashion, I got another killer Philly band on the podcast. I'm sitting down with Sun God. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Hey,
We're doing well.
Hell yeah. For people that might not be aware, like I did mention, Sun God you guys are based out of Philly, but you guys are a rock and roll band based out of Philly. So I want to say like a little bit different than what I've normally encountered with Philly bands, but still the way you guys are doing it is something that I truly love. So I'm super stoked to have you guys on.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us. This
Happy
is
to
great.
be here.
Dude, of course. I kind of want to start obviously at the beginning before we get too far. Can you kind of go around and say who you are and what you do in Sun God?
I'm Jordan. I write some songs, sing some songs, play rhythm guitar in most songs. And yeah.
I'm Mike. I also play guitar and sing some songs and write some songs.
And I'm Will. I play bass and do a little bit of harmonies and sing one song.
I'm Steve. I play drums and I don't sing at all.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll
save it
change.
for the next record.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of records, I do want to, for people listening, give a little bit of back look into the discography for people that aren't aware. You guys, formed in I think it was like 2012. First LP came out in 2013 called Wander. Since then, you guys have released another LP and 2 EPs, and we're here to talk about your third LP in your discography, which it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. You guys have. I mean, I got to give you props too, because first release in 2013. We're now 10 years from that. Obviously, made it through COVID, where a lot of bands would have fell off and been like, "Oh, we had a good run. Let's maybe do something else." But 10 years. It's an amazing accomplishment, and I commend every band that makes it to at least that milestone. So congratulations for that, real quick.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
It helped,
Oh, go ahead. You got it.
It helps we've been friends for a little while too.
Okay. Yeah.
Like we're from the same hometown and everything. So
Yeah. And I was gonna say the COVID thing, it helps. We all live probably within 4 or 5 blocks of each other. So it was like kind of nice. That was our little COVID bubble, was all, able to go to the practice space. And yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know, like, having the bubble was the hardest part, but like definitely being so close makes it so much easier. Like my bubble during COVID was basically my 2 roommates, and then our 2 friends that also were married to each other and lived like across town. So we only hung out with each other. So
Yeah, that definitely like helped to have like a little creative thing too. So like whenever we were super bored, it was like, even though it was still kind of weird with masks and like all being in the same room, we tried to like send like send like riffs back and forth or something, like keep it like the ball rolling a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Hope to not go insane during COVID.
I think there was, obviously you had an EP and an LP come out, I think 21, 22. So those would have probably been like more of the COVID albums. So this, what we're kind of seeing with your latest LP called Sleep for a Week is, the aftermath of all of that. It's what follows it up. And I gotta say, well, 2 things. One, I gotta kind of slightly apologize. I normally when I go through a band's listen to like their latest thing, I like to go back and listen to as much of like the early stuff as possible, just to get that full feel. Obviously, 10 years to
Mhm.
get the feel of like the change in direction or anything like that. Work was brutal, so I didn't get to do that. But I did, make sure to listen to Sleep for a Week at least 3 to 4 times.
Yeah.
And it's a killer album
Hoping those
for everyone
numbers.
that's
Thank you.
listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Nah, it's all good. The stuff from like 2013 was really just me and Jordan trying to figure out
True.
figure anything out. And then like in 2018, I guess it became more of like it really, that was just a thing that I don't know. I thought like
Mhm.
maybe it'll never come back around, who knows? But 2018, 2019, Will and Steve, like we're always kind of a part of it. Like we'd always jam together and stuff, but it became more of like a serious thing in like 2018, and recorded an EP with our friend Jake, and that's when it kind of like started snowballing a little more into like more of a realistic like thing for sure.
Okay. One of those nice moments where it's like, oh shit, like this is something legit. Like we can keep this
Yeah.
going. Like it feels, it stops being just like a little fun project. It starts
Yeah.
feeling more
Yeah.
like serious and everything like that.
I feel
For
like
sure.
when Will and Steve joined too, we were able to play live shows.
Yes.
And that's like we kind of just said yes to everything, and that got us like that's the best part about like Philly, I think. You could play with any style of band, and if you just say yes, you kind of get your chops after a while. So
Yeah, and we've met like so many
Mhm.
amazing musicians along the way too. Like any of the shows that we played, the folks that we've recorded
Mhm.
with, the people who have like collaborated with just about anything. It's really special. Like I think it's so cool that you're really in tune to the Philly scene, because it is a very special thing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and I've joked about this on a few different episodes about how like I've hit so many Philly bands that I almost feel like a Philly music scene podcast that's just based out of Minneapolis. It doesn't make
Yes,
sense.
sir.
Hey, we're cool with that.
You're the historian for the Philly scene, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Nice.
But yeah, Philly is like just pumping out great musicians. Obviously, Puppy Yanks has been on. I've had Seeing Snakes. I've had just countless people, and just no one is like a miss. Everyone's always on point, doing what their thing is, and it's just great to see.
Oh, right on. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like
Love that.
Philadelphia is like pretty unique in that like I know some cities it's tough to get shows and like it's a little combative. Philadelphia, everybody kind of like plays in everybody's bands and like boosts each other up and stuff. And I feel like Minneapolis has like a kind of a similar scene, I would say right now too, is there's a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
like a lot of different genres, but every show is kind of like a variety show. Everybody plays everybody's shows. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I completely agree with Minneapolis being the same. I'm originally from like Iowa, so like moving from like a small town to Minneapolis and just like being surrounded by like shows going on all the time, sometimes feels like a little bit of a culture shock, in like the best way possible. And then I'm just like, dude, I can't make it to all of these shows, or
It's just impossible.
yeah, or like my friends that are in like punk bands that are like my age or older, they're like, oh yeah, we're playing at like 9 o'clock on a Thursday night, and I'm like, bro, why? Like,
Yeah.
that's bedtime right there.
That is bedtime.
But yeah, so back in at the time of this recording, it's been out for a little over a month. In November, you released your third LP, "Sleep for a Week," which is an amazing. I don't want to butcher song amounts, but it's amazing 10-song LP that I know you guys classify you guys yourselves as like rock and roll, but this is almost like a prairie rock or prairie surf like style album in like the best
Yeah.
ways. I mean, I love that little niche, and like this
Thank you.
this hits so many things that I didn't realize I was missing, since I get in these waves of just mainly what I listen to is like Midwest emo, so I haven't
Oh, right on.
gone down like a prairie style rock album in a while, so it was great to just kind of get this nice like refresher with this album.
Thank you.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I've
I
never
don't know
heard
if
of
we've.
I love prairie rock now.
Yeah,
It's so hard to say. Like when somebody asks, like, "What does your band sound like?"
yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, to this day
And now I know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the like rock and roll thing's a little tongue in cheek. It's just like
Mhm.
because it's that exact same thing. It's like, well, you have to like take into account the context of the person you're talking to. Like, are you familiar with this? Yeah, I feel like you have to do like the mental gymnastics of like, what is this
Oh,
person
yeah.
gonna think about what I say? So I feel like rock and roll is usually just kind of like, yeah, we play
It covers
rock
it.
music.
I like prairie surf.
prairie
Like,
surf.
Yeah.
what do you surf in the prairie, man?
Dude, I don't know. I remember like my friends back in Iowa, they had a prairie surf like band, and it was the same kind of like vibiness that you guys
Mhm.
have. But I was like, how did you even come up with like prairie surf? And they're like, it sounded good. We
Yeah.
just
It
went with
does.
it, and I was like,
It really does.
Yeah.
okay.
It does sound really nice.
Hell yeah. I love that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's cool too because the last record we did, which we fully recorded like in the heart of the pandemic, was like, I don't know, like we all loved the songs, but it was like amalgamation of like a lot of different sounds and us just like kind of wanting to push like doing a full record and
Mhm.
putting it out there and being like, oh yeah, we can do this. And then we put it out and it felt great. And no sooner just started writing songs for this record.
True.
And like,
Mhm.
I don't know, like it just like felt so much more cohesive. So it's funny that you like say like put a name to it, prairie rock or whatever. But honestly, like the whole like since we started this until putting it out, it felt more like an actual like cohesive thing that you can put a name to.
Mhm.
Totally.
Would you say like with that like transition from like the last record to this one, this one feels more like Sun God than anything else?
I think so. Yeah, I feel like this is the most like indicative of what we've been trying to. I kind of did the same thing, like you said. You want to do a deep dive. The other day, I was just bored, had a lot of free time, and like went back and listened to some old things, and I was like, oh, it's funny. We're still like figuring it out.
Yeah.
It feels like we're still kind of like unsure, like not steady footing kind of thing. But like with the new record, like we're all pretty much like firmly rooted in doing what we do. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Dude, hell yeah.
And we kind of like took our time with it too, which was, I think, the best part about it because I guess it was like a 2-year process of actually tracking it,
Damn.
and
yeah,
we did about 6 songs on our own, like a lot of it in this room. And then we did 2 at the metal shop in Fishtown, and then we did 2 at a studio called The Bunk in Tannersville, which is up near the Poconos. And we recorded with our friends Ian Farmer and Matt Schimmelfinning. And then Matt Shim mixed the whole thing together. We went up and finished it off. So it was fun to really take our time with it, which, to play off of what Steve said, we did that. We did Gentle Day like all at the same time. And this one, we really took our time with it.
I love that you brought up the going up there to do this recording, because I know on Twitter you have those photos out from like your behind the scenes from your time working on this album, and like the effect that you guys have on those photos where they kind of feel like more like almost like a Polaroid style photo or older. I was looking at those photos while listening to this, and it like works so well because I can't remember what song it was, and it's gonna bug me for a while until I remember what song it was that I was listening to. But all I could think of was just like a old school like camcorder, like not like the videotape ones, but like an older school, like maybe 70s version or whatever. Where you just kind of hear that reel going, but like your guys' music in the background, and it's like you just see like that kind of those video shots of like the film kind of like going through and kind of getting messed up.
yeah.
I have to figure out what song it was and let you guys know. But
Yeah, we want to know too.
I could envision like this whole like just montage of like just having a good time and getting recorded with your guys' music right behind it. And
Yeah, if you want to shoot a
so well.
video, let's do
Yeah.
it, bro. You have a whole
Let's
vision.
go.
I do feel like we play into like that retro thing a little
Yeah.
bit with like film photographs, and like we're all from a pretty small town. We're all from the same town in it's called Pottsville, and it's like 2.5 hours outside of Philadelphia. and that used to be kind of like a blossoming town back in like the coal mining days. And now it's not. It's like 30 years behind the time. So I feel like we all have that like sense of
Nostalgia.
yeah, nostalgia,
and,
right?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So I feel like that kind of like plays into it a little bit for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing with like the prairie rock sound is that it also like kind of transports you to that same era anyways. In obviously in the best way. Everything I say is always in the best way, because obviously love what's going on.
I have a question. I have a quick question. Is cowpunk a thing?
Cowpunk?
Have you heard
Not that
cowpunk?
I've heard.
Cowpunk.
Could be
You
a,
could make it.
subset.
I think cowpunk's a thing for
Okay,
sure. Yeah,
cool.
it's not quite like folk punk, but it's like
Okay.
it leans into that a little more. I can't think of a good example of a band, but like
Seems prairie rocky.
yeah, there was the big egg versus chain punk. That was a big discussion for a while, and I feel like then people were like, oh, there's also cowpunk.
Okay.
All right.
No, I know.
You say so.
Thanks for not making me feel crazy.
No, anything's a genre. You can
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that is true.
Blue bass trap in the corner of the ring.
Yes.
Like I said, this album came out on the 3rd of November, and the nice thing is this came out, and then immediately the next day you got to play the album release show for it. How was that show for you guys? I know obviously I love this album. It would have been sick to see it live. I think there is a recording from that night out on your guys' YouTube of Month of Mary. But how was the rest of the show for this?
It was so fun.
Yeah,
honestly.
it was awesome.
It rocked. It was at Creep Records, which is a spot that they opened up a new location in Port Richmond. So that's where it was. It was just like the northeast sort of area of Philly, for those who are not familiar with the Philly geography. But they have one of my favorite record stores, and also Eric, who owns the spot, has a studio as well, and we did In the Summer Heat there with Jake Clark. And so it's just fun when all of those worlds sort of collide. And a lot of our close friends came out. We played with 2 amazing bands. We played with Tonks and the Nielsen Family Band. If you have a moment to check either of them out, they are incredible. We've been playing shows with Nielsen Family Band for a couple of years now. They're from Lancaster, PA, and it was just one of those moments where everybody was just vibing and having a really good time, and like it felt familiar, it felt fun, and it like was really special to share that record. That was the first time we played a lot of those songs live, and to do it with our closest friends was just the best, honestly.
It was like a fun exercise in trying to play the record front to back too, because like you said, that I never thought one of those songs is one that I never thought we'd have to play live, and we figured it out, and it turned out great. But we had like 2 practices to relearn and like polish them up and stuff, and I think it turned out pretty good. No one like threw tomatoes at us. So it was,
that's always good.
It's a little bar,
what was the song that you didn't think you would play live off this album?
There's one that I recorded like during so I live with 2 roommates during the pandemic as well, and they left one afternoon, and I was like, I'm gonna see if I can record something. So I like wrote and recorded something kind of on the spot, and it's called Freeze Out. It's like toward the end of the record. It's just like a little somber tune or whatever. But I was like, I don't think that's I don't know. I didn't expect it to even be on the record necessarily, but everyone else kind of liked it.
I fought for that one. I love that one.
Michael, this song rules. It's a great
I mean, I like the song for sure. It's definitely not one that I was like, that's gonna be we're gonna play that in November of 2023 and everyone's gonna know. But no, it was nice. What's the policy on opening another beer? Is that acceptable?
Oh, I'm almost there too.
Completely acceptable.
All right, cool.
You're good.
All right.
Anybody else need one?
I'll do.
All right.
While you're grabbing those, I do have a question for you. I know, kind of bouncing off, you didn't think that you'd be playing that song off the record. I was, scrolling through the Twitter or X, depending on how you view it now. and there was a one tweet that I saw that mentioned that there's one song that you guys have recorded that you've never played.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Is
what
there a
is that?
reason that song has never seen the light of a stage?
I don't think there's any reason. It's Off Gentle Day. There's a song called
Oh, Quiet Bardo.
yeah, Quiet Warm.
Quiet
or something.
Warm.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I don't even know why it's called that either. Yeah, that sounds cool. I think we should play it live sometime. What do you say?
It's a Mike, it's a Mike song at heart
Yeah.
for sure, and it's really pretty, and we should.
Yeah. I
There's
was
no
like,
reason not to.
I was listening again. I was bored and listened to the discography and was like, I think we played all these live, and that was the one where I was like, oh, all but one. Okay, fair enough.
Well, you did make that pact with someone that I'm forgetting their name, so you
Oh.
do have to play it at some point.
So yeah, so a friend of ours is also from the Cole region, but now lives in Los Angeles and plays in a really cool punk band called Entry. And she said that there's a song they've never played live. So I was like, all right, well, if we play this, you have to play yours. So Sarah, if you're listening, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
I need to learn.
Sounds for Sarah.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Yeah, it's always interesting, obviously as like a listener to see what songs never fully make it to the stage, because you're putting out LPs that are sometimes 10 to 13 songs. Obviously your sets can only be so long depending on the show and the structure of the night. But then there's always like I have friends that will play, and then there's like those deep cuts that we just know like are the hidden gems because they're our friends, but then they'll still never like play it because they're just like, we don't give a shit about that album anymore. Like, just stop
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's like what we usually do when we're putting a set together is we'll play more songs than we want to have in a set list and just kind of feel how it plays out when we're practicing together. And anyone that feels like a little bit like, like dull or empty,
Mhm.
we'll kind of cut. And so it's just sort of the way it translates to us playing it live.
I mean, that makes sense. That's a good way to do it. Because you don't want to like kind of just say, hey, these are the songs we're going to do, and then just ruin like a whole vibe if you're trying to go for a feeling for something. Because you always have those moments where like a band will be just rocking along, and then they'll be like, hey, we're going to do an acoustic song real quick, and just I know we were hyped, but now we're just going to bring it down a few notches, and it's like, what's going on? Song sounds great, but
there's a venue we'll play that has like a disco ball, and usually there's like a point in the set where it's like it's usually a good time for the disco ball. So that's like that's as slow as we'll take. We'll do like a little slow song kind of vibe. But no, I feel like acoustic totally sucks the life out of it,
Yeah. Like like my friends used to do that too, and I was like, bro, like put the acoustic song like maybe at the beginning, like don't do it mid set.
Yeah.
But they never learned.
I was at a show a couple years ago where the singer came through the audience with acoustic, and then the band came up with them. I think that's how you could do it.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
It's kind of cool.
What show?
He sang with the crowd a little bit before he went up.
Want to drop some names?
What is their name? They're a Canadian band.
Neil Young.
I'll think of it. Neil Young. I think Neil Young walked from the back to the front.
I was at a comedy show once where the guy claimed he was on stage and claimed he forgot something in the back and walked through the audience like walking on the seats to like get his stuff
like
very
that.
clumsily.
That's so good.
It's a cool move.
Pretty funny. Yeah. Pretty good.
We should do that.
We don't have seats nowadays.
You're cooking up some ideas.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael.
No, I love it. Like I said, tangents are cool, and it's because like my favorite thing about doing this is obviously I'm talking to you guys and like learning about the band and all that stuff, but anyone that's listening that has listened to you guys for a long time and has been fans of you guys, they know you for sure like through the music, but to see you guys go off on that tangent about like, oh, maybe we could try and like walk through the crowd over steps at our show, that shows you what the band is really like, and that's the thing I really love. So I do get known to just let a band ramble for a little bit because
Let's just say
I'm so
our next
excited.
show is going to be fucking
gonna be
insane. We're going to play a
crazy.
song we've never played. We're going to walk through the crowd. It's going to be an acoustic song at the very beginning.
Oh my god, and it's gonna be in Pottsville too. So
Yeah.
there's there's a show around Christmas every year, pretty much.
Mhm.
Is that the Hootenanny
Mhm.
thing? Yeah. So at this bar called Hucklebucks in Pottsville, which is truly the best bar in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. So I can't make it, but these three are gonna play like a strip I mean, walking through the crowd with an acoustic
Yeah,
guitar
yeah.
kind of set, I think.
It's going to be strange.
But
Yeah, we
I
don't know what
can't
we're gonna do.
wait
I
to
think
see
we're-
how it turns out.
Yeah, I think we're coming up with the set list right
Yeah.
on the spot here.
Steve, what do you got for us? What are we opening with?
Yeah, Quiet Warm.
Quiet Warm for
Okay.
sure.
Acoustic version.
Everyone's going to be very confused.
Just play nothing off the new record. Just
Yeah,
really
it's
go
really- yeah.
Really mess with their heads a little bit.
We had to play a show, like for us, what seemed like a Bruce Springsteen like 5-hour show, pretty much. We usually don't play more than like 30 minutes, but we had to fill like 2 hours. So I think with the break in the middle, it was like an hour 40 of music. We played 22 songs, and that felt really crazy because it was
And like one cover.
and yeah, it was like let's play everything we've ever learned. It was nuts.
And people were just eating dinner.
Yeah, that's true.
It was good.
But it was yeah, it was pretty good.
Free will brewing and
Free Will Brewing.
Percy.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, it was a good show.
Getting a little bit back to the record here, we're talking about Sleep for a Week, which came out a little bit over a month ago. It's like I said, it's a great collection of songs. I think I'm like 1 to 2 listens away from fully like, because like those first initial listens, you're just vibing with the music, and then you start to fully take in the lyrics, and I'm like right on that cusp of like starting to get it. I think I was listening to Haven't Been a Fool right before we all got on, and there's like some lines in there, and I'm gonna probably butcher it. So please chime in as I start to get this wrong. I think it's something about like tell the mortician like something about makeup on my face, and I'm butchering that, I know, as I say that.
Yeah. Tell the funeral man, I think it is.
Yeah, I think
So
that's
that one's actually a cover, which is by Grant. What is it?
Grant McClellan.
Grant McClellan from Australia, some guy in the 90s. But Mike and I love that song, and so we were just like, yeah, let's mess around and see if we could do like a bedroom version of it.
Yeah. But honestly,
Yeah.
you're right. What is he talking about? Funeral man, I don't like the
Yeah.
powder on my face.
I just imagine he's walking through the town like telling people like
Yeah.
the doctor,
Yeah.
the baker man, I don't know.
They're doing the classic
he
thing
said
where they're
something
like
the policeman too.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
policeman,
We're
yeah.
getting all the professions
Yeah.
in there.
they're
Yeah.
poking their heads out of the window and doing like the classic like
Oh,
dip their
yes.
top hats.
They're all on one street though too. It's like,
But yeah, that guy Grant McClellan played in a band called the Go-Betweens in like Australia in like the early 90s, and has like a couple of really cool solo records. And I think he died like shortly after, but he's got a cool body of work. It's worth checking out.
it's
Grant
awesome.
McClellan.
The original version of Haven't I Been a Fool is so good. It's so catchy, and it's really, really fun. And I
Ours
have to
is
be
better.
like,
Ours is better. Hell yeah. No, it's so modest.
Steve has such a
Steve,
big
hit it.
ego.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
That's it. Yeah, but it was really fun because Mike and Jordan love that song, and they brought it to practice one time, a song that I have never heard. I don't know if you were in the same boat, Steve, but I just started writing bass parts to what they were playing, having not heard the song. So it became like a bit of a cover. Like it was easy to make it a cover in our own style, just like vibing off the lyrics and the general chord structure and things like that, because I feel like the drums that you wrote and the bass that I wrote weren't like learning the song and then reproducing it, you know.
We cut out the bass drum solo that you guys were doing, bass and drum solo for like 4 minutes. Sorry, that's just not, it's not the vision.
They were like, it's too far from the
It
original.
derivates a little too much.
Subscribe to the Patreon to get to
That's the real version, baby.
That way you can unlock like the 12-minute version of the song.
Yes.
Which I feel like the lyrics, there are a lot of lyrics in that song.
Yeah, there are. I can't remember it. I'm really bad at remembering a lot of lyrics in a song. So
Oh, so that was one that we cut from. So we played every song on the album except that one when we did our release show. And it was one of those situations where a little bit of time, like cut for time, but also that was the one that we just,
yeah.
Weren't translating so well.
I feel like there was a noise curfew at the venue and we hit it on the nose. Someone said, like, someone held up their phone like, oh, check it, 10 o'clock on the nose. We're like, oh, good thing we cut that song.
If not for anything else, Sun God is punctual. Like we get our stuff off the stage, we load in quickly on time.
I mean, you're allowed to not be punctual on your own like album release show. I feel like that's the only exception.
That is fair.
We still got there 45 minutes early.
We set up everything.
We did.
I remember one time I booked a show and it was like 2 out-of-state bands that were like on tour together, and they came through, and like, I think I had like 3 locals on, so it was 5 band bill.
Nice.
Theoretically, it should have worked out perfectly with changeovers and all that stuff. Worked fine. The one dude in one of the touring bands decided to get like hammered before their set, so he's up there just like going, and he hits like their mark, and he just keeps going, and he's like, "You guys want to hear another one?" And just kept playing, and I'm just like standing next to the sound guy, thinking that they're just gonna turn and be like, "You're fucked! Like, get out of my face!"
Yeah.
And they're thankfully the sound person was like the nicest person ever, and they're like, "You're probably just gonna run over by like 5-10 minutes. It's fine.
That's
Don't worry
fine,
about
yeah.
it."
But
They're
as the
like,
promoter, you're probably like, fuck. Like, I had it all figured out. We were
I
gonna
know.
like share the back line. It was gonna go smoothly, and then you got toasted.
yeah,
There's always a hiccup though.
Yeah.
5 band
Yeah.
bill, there's always a hiccup.
right. But I don't do that anymore, so I don't have to worry about it.
Perfect.
It's in the past, baby.
I just do this now, and it's a lot easier.
Yes.
Yeah. You said you've been doing a bunch of recordings this week?
Yeah,
Burn 'em.
so yesterday was with a band called I don't want to I know I have it, Death Pose. They're a heavier, they label themselves as heavy as shit from Chicago.
Cool.
And then
Nice.
Sunday I sat down with my good friends from back home in Iowa called TV Cop.
Oh, cool.
They're kind of like a power pop punk band.
Nice.
Sounds right up my alley.
Yeah.
And then I recorded last week with a band from, who I want to say they're also Pennsylvania based, called the Magwas.
Okay, right on.
And they're kind of like indie rock. They're signed to Counterintuitive currently.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I did those recordings, and then also on Saturday was my birthday, and then so it's been a lot of drinking this past week. So
Happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday,
yeah.
Michael.
thank you. Appreciate
Burning the
it.
candle at both ends. I love it.
Gotta keep it up. It was like I'm hitting 31. I gotta feel young again.
Yes.
No better way to do that than getting drunk, right?
Yeah.
And just waking up the next morning and being like, I feel 51.
Yeah.
Yes.
But thankfully, we'll do yours today. I got a couple days off, record another one on Saturday.
Sweet.
And then I think that's it for like another like almost 2 weeks. So
Cool.
starting off the year strong is what I'm doing.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah. Thanks again for having us.
Yeah, no, this
Dude, of
is so
course.
fun.
Like I've said, this album was great to listen to. And it's been a while since I've listened to a prairie rock album, and it really did it felt right to when I found the single, when I was going through playlists, and I was like, this just feels right. I mean, I can't remember exactly what song I said to you guys. It might have been, I think it was Church Next Door was the one I found, and I was like, I need to immediately send this email. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
the one.
That's the Will.
That's
song.
my one.
Will
I
has
mean,
a.
since
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Will has like recorded a couple of songs himself, like for another project of his, like mostly in this room,
Mhm.
and he kind of brought that one. It was one that was like he was like, I think this could work for Song God, and yeah, it's cool. It like adds a different life to the record for sure.
Mhm.
Because mostly it's just been Jordan and I in the past like writing the song, so like having another added more like depth to it, you know.
Mhm.
It's like my Yellow Submarine or Octopus's Garden, you know. But no, like truly, it was so fun to do that song because we did that one at the metal shop with our friend Ian, and Mike played bass on it, which Mike's a fantastic bassist because he plays in this band called Webwing, and they rock. They're so freaking good. They just went on tour in the UK and they are so damn good.
Thanks, man.
And so the energy with like Mike playing bass and Steve playing drums was incredible, and Jordan bringing like the songwriting talent to it, like it just felt like it's a very personal song for me, and like getting to do that with my best friends was just the absolute best.
And also, all the while, there was a church next to your house here being knocked down
It's
in
true.
the neighborhood. That's the way I think about it, because like
Yeah.
we live kind of close to each other, and there's this old church that they just knocked down. There's a
Whoa.
petition to save it, but they didn't save
The
it.
church
Insane.
next door.
Yeah, the
Whoa.
church next
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's true, they
funny
were
enough,
like demolishing the church. There's some like imagery in that from that experience. But yeah, I'm glad that is what brought you to Sun God, which is an unusual way to get here because it's the one song that these two.
I know. I guess you get two next one.
Yeah. Begrudgingly, we're like, all right, here you go.
It worked really well.
It just clicked with me also. Funny enough, I also have a church that's next door to my house.
Shit.
I hope it's still
So-
standing.
Yeah. Once
It-
they
it's-
start knocking
it
it down,
is.
you're gonna write a song.
Yeah.
It's gonna inspire you, my friend.
Yeah, I'll just do church next door part 2.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Part
and
two,
keep,
hell
keep
yeah.
it going.
Respect.
Were there any other songs like in your guys' process from like start to finish that like might have drastically changed from initial idea to final product?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question.
I think maybe Campus for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like Mike's had that riff around for a long time. It's been in my head. And then when we went to record it, it just rocked.
Yeah.
It's kind of prairie rock, you know.
That one did kind of have a drastic shift because the bridge in that was actually, I feel like we were toying around a while ago with that being its own separate song.
Mhm.
And we never, like, as it goes with writing songs, it just never really went anywhere. It's like, okay, this is cool, let's sit on it. And yeah, Mike, I don't know when or where, how or why, but like,
When did the genius like
you were like, oh,
Wow.
let's throw this as a bridge. And we're like, oh shit.
So sick.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
do you guys agree though, or is there
Yeah.
another one?
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good, yeah, it's a good example. I feel like a couple of these songs felt pretty fully formed by the time we started recording them, though. Too, I
Mhm.
feel like the opening track was pretty much like, oh yeah, there it is. It's it's a pretty simple song. And then yeah, there are a couple songs on the record that I feel like just kind of like flowed out nicely. But Campus is definitely one that like went through some different iterations. Yeah.
With Campus having that like riff that you've been playing for a long time, would you say that it's probably the oldest song that finally got to make it to this record? Since if you think about the riff wise,
Damn, I don't
That's a
know.
great
sure.
question.
That one's been around for a while. I feel like there's one Path,
Path is old.
which
Path
is
is-
called The Day Is Over. I think that's the opening track. That one's been around for a while. We played that one like at some shows and stuff. We kind of like show tested that one before we recorded it. And then there's a song called
I think Month of Mary's been around for a while.
Yeah.
I wrote that one a long time ago.
Oh shit, we tried to record Month of Mary
Yeah.
once. at the same time that we tried to record, or at the same time we actually recorded Tropics and The Day Is Over, but it just didn't come out right. And then we took it up to the bunk along with Campus, and those two just kind of came together. Like, and to your point, Michael, honestly, like the cool part about, and it's really sweet that you picked up on the vibe of the bunk, because it is just sort of a magical place to go and record. And Matt like creates this like truly wonderful recording environment and brings out the best in the folks that record up there. Like, you could just run through the stuff that he's mixed and recorded, and like, you don't need anything else.
He's definitely more than either just like a producer or an engineer. He's truly like part of the band. Like, creatively, he'll play on stuff. Like, for that time that you're up there, he's more than, I don't know, maybe I'm singing his praises a little too much. I got to bring him back down to earth. But no, he like takes your idea, has his own like fully formed ideas in his head too, and then like pitches it in a way where he's like, I'm not offended if you don't want to use it, but I think it could be cool if, and then that kind of like tweaks everybody else's brains a little bit, and it's just kind of like it's this cool creative process. Like, he's really good at like you were saying, getting the best takes out of you, but also like adding more to the songs themselves.
Yeah, and that's definitely what you want for someone that's going to be a producer. Like, obviously you're spending money to do all this, and you want it to come out, you know, good and kind of your way, but you want someone that also sees your vision, sees what it could be, or sees potential to get it to where it needs to be, and is someone that you guys are cool with enough where you can tell that they're not like hating on your idea or wanting to implement their own things, but doing the right suggestions to get you to where they think that you want to be, and are willing to, you know, if they brought up an idea and you were like, no, that's not really what we want to do, and then you know, being cool enough to be like, oh, okay, you're right.
There's like room for a little bit of pushback for sure. Being up there is also just kind of cool and like idyllic a little bit too, because we're all from a small town. It feels like, you know, you're up there at this area that's like in the woods. There's a golden retriever running around. It's beautiful. It's, you know, you're getting a bagel for breakfast and starting playing music every day. It's like, I don't know. It's a nice reality up there. It's cool.
It's a very special place.
Yeah, I mean, it looked very chill. Just like you guys sitting around too, like it looked like a good time, because, you know, I mean, people can go anywhere. I've you know, I have friends that go to big studios. They do all this stuff. It really depends on the vibe that person's putting out, and you know, you feeling homey, and you know, everything that you guys did there obviously translated out amazingly through this record.
Thank you. Yeah, we did Campus and Month of Mary up there, and then we did Church Next Door and Railroad Ties, which is my favorite song on the record. Church Next Door and Railroad Ties we did at the Metal Shop, which is like, again, 5 to 10 minute walk from our home. So that was like a pretty also easy and fun environment. So like both ways were great. And then, you know, we tracked the rest ourselves. So those took a little more time, but like, yeah, it was just comfortable and easy the whole time, I would say. I don't know. Like, the record feels a little more, there's more like room to breathe or something maybe.
Yeah, the process was so fun.
Mike, you know, you just brought up that Railroad Ties is probably your favorite. There's a question that I'm slightly starting to bring back. I haven't decided if I fully want to bring back the segment or not.
We're good. Tested on us.
Is it going to tear us apart?
Right.
I like it.
Go.
We're
don't worry. It's nothing bad. It's no gotcha questions or anything like that.
You just
bring it.
You become Nardwar all of a sudden.
I'm just like. So,
you're right.
2016 in April, it's crazy enough. I have here.
You have the only pressing of Wander.
As long as we doot at the end.
Dude, of course. Dude, if I like, there's two main interviewers that I like strive to be as good as. Obviously Nardwar, because no one can top anything that Nardwar does.
I need to know his sources. I need to know how he does it.
It's insane.
He's magical, yeah.
And then Sean Evans from Hot Ones. He's also very amazing at his research.
So good.
You're doing a Hot Ones a little bit here, where you're like drinking along with us. I feel like
cold ones.
He like You know,
Cold ones.
cold ones.
Whoa.
You didn't think about that. That's
Mhm.
good.
We're on to something.
The
Um,
beers get heavier as you go.
We'll do a lap
Oh,
down.
that would be rough.
yeah. But the question I used to ask is basically the Warp Tour question. You know, you're showing up to Warp Tour. You're a band that's trying to hawk your CDs or get people to be interested in you. You know, there's people stand in line for a long time trying to get in. So you have that little bit of time to kind of go down the line, hand them a pair of headphones, say, "Hey, my name is so and so. I'm from Sun God. Check out my band." What would be the song that you would play for them in that moment to get them interested in Sun God?
Damn, good question.
I think we know
I'm at
Mike's.
Warped Tour.
Yeah, mine's definitely Railroad Ties. I feel like that one immediately kind of like unlocked everything for me a little bit. Like the record had like a couple songs that were getting close to being finished. Railroad Ties immediately, like once we recorded, I was like, wow, that's like the anchor for the record a little bit for me. But I'll let you guys obviously chime in with yours as well.
Yo, also Jordan's vocals on Railroad Ties are just the best recording takes. I remember sitting there, like I was laying on the floor while he was recording and just like with headphones on getting chills, like especially in the second verse. Not like it just like it's a beautiful song. And I think that's the fun part about like putting bass to songs that your friends are making is that like I just like shamelessly listen to this record over and over again because these guys like made it, you know? And so like oh we're cracking again. The but yeah, no truly the vocal like that's like some of your best
Thanks,
vocals,
Will.
Jordan.
Thanks. Yeah, I got emotional on it. That one, like, I like that one too because it's like we didn't do too many takes and we just kind of wanted to capture it. It's emotional stuff, capture the the vibe. I love that one. I think if I had to pick one, I think on the new record it would be "I Want to Be Around," because like Mike sings the chorus parts and I sing the verses, and I love like I'm a fan of when there's two vocalists, and Mike wrote an awesome song there, so getting to sing his lyrics and all that stuff was fun. But I think that's a good indication of our band as an old one. I don't know.
But yeah,
What
that
I'd
one's
say.
that
Obvious Music would be another one, I
Ooh,
think,
that was
oh,
fun.
true.
because we recorded that in like a day,
Oh
I
yeah.
think, and like kind of on the whim. And I felt like writing that one, I was like, Obvious Music, we were being a little cheeky too. Like, we're writing a pretty easy pop song, but
Yeah.
it turned out pretty cool. I love that song.
Yeah, we definitely challenged ourselves. I was like, I don't know. Was I annoying about that? Because I feel like we should write and record a song in a day. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And
No,
we
I feel
did
like
it.
we were
I think
vibing
resources maybe for us.
we were kind of like vibing off of the experience like we had just spent like 10 days in the Poconos with Matt
Mhm.
and just like excited about continuing to write and record and just coming up with little ideas like that is so freaking fun because
But we got like a late start, so we didn't start till like 1 or 2 because I think
yeah
someone got a haircut or something like that. So we stayed up till like 3 a.m. just being like, all right, let's track everything.
Probably
Yeah.
Steve he has an ego.
Right. I don't record before 11. It's like, okay, fine.
but
yeah,
it
I'm
was a
sorry.
late one.
Yeah,
It was fun.
but I'm sorry if you guys had to
Oh,
choose
shit.
your Warped Tour song.
My Warped Tour song.
don't know.
Well, I would go like to fully honest, like I Want to Be Around is probably my favorite just because it was, you know, that is for the same reasons that Jordan was talking about. But to piggyback off of that, we had a couple of our really close friends collaborate on this record. And so the ones where they added their own like personal touch was so nice. So like Zach Robbins did some percussion and synths for Church Next Door. So like just to see all of the folks that I love very much adding to a personal song, like it's just the best. But the song The Tropics, which is a song that Mike wrote and we recorded a long time ago. We had our friend Jay Termini come over and play lap steel for it. And it was just like the best hang. We all like sat up here, projected some like I don't know, like marine stuff up on the wall, and he
Like the
just like
Marines?
Not the
What am I trying to
Yeah,
say?
like the military. We just watched a bunch of training footage
Yeah.
of Marines. Really brought the song together.
some
Yeah.
boot camp video.
What am I trying to just like ocean shit?
Yeah, no, Marine.
We recorded this song.
Yeah.
But like our friend Jen came over, Jay was there. And like he just ripped these beautiful lap steel parts that we tucked into that song, and then Mike ripped a couple of solos, and I don't know, it's just like the hang is the most fun part about it. So if I would throw it out there, I think the Tropics is the one that I want to shout out.
Nice. For me, I don't know.
Good answer.
Dude, none of them.
None of You just be like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
answer.
But he's like, give me the headphones back.
Damn.
No, I don't know. Honestly, before this record, probably like Jordan was saying, obvious music. That was just like really fun one to do.
Mhm.
But now that the record's out, I mean, honestly, like for me, my two favorites, I think, it's in between Campus and Month of Mary. I'd probably, if like, you know, walking through a line of people, I'd show them, I guess, Campus.
A little more lively.
I would show him Campus because, and honestly, probably the same reason that I like obvious music is because those songs were like came together like so effortlessly. And there was like, I don't know, there's something really like weird and magical when like, I don't know, like you're writing a song and like, I don't know, like it was maybe a few weeks before we went up to the bunk when we like laid down Month of Mary and Campus, but they weren't even set yet, but it was like, oh yeah, as long as we go up with these songs in this condition, we're gonna nail it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
And yeah, and sure enough, we got up there and in no time, like everything just came together. And there's just really something special like when songs work out like that. And I think it really comes through sonically. And yeah, I'm really proud of Campus, and that would probably be the one I would show.
You fucking nailed it.
So the Warped Tour line, we said you have to listen to all four of these in entirety. We couldn't choose.
Yo,
Sorry.
I think we're
Have a
giving.
seat.
I'm giving out water too while I'm doing it because like
But you're charging for it, right?
my charges
No,
you
he's
have to
giving you
listen
that.
to the song.
Yeah, that's the
It's
price
like
of
the
admission.
U2 kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or you just all walk up and hand them all 4 sets of headphones at one time.
Yeah.
Or you
Oh
just like,
damn!
there you go.
Let them choose. I like
Yeah.
that.
Just dealer's choice. See what happens. Well, everyone listening, you can find those songs and more on Sleep for a Week, which is out on all streaming. We'll talk about links in a little bit. One cool thing that for people that love a physical medium, you do have this out on cassette on like a nice not lime green, but I can't think of the right color green.
Yeah, lime green's pretty.
Is
Is
it
it
lime?
like a Kelly green, maybe?
It's like
It's like a little darker.
Oh damn! Somebody stole it.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
it's
is what she
hot.
looks
It's
like.
hot, bro.
It's not a forest green. It's not a lime green.
All right, so we put this on tape, and I had nothing to play the music with. Sorry, I'm going we're
Okay.
jumping the shark here. So
Let's
bought a-
see it,
I
bro.
bought a walk-
Come on. There we go.
Yeah.
This is it. And
Emerald green?
It's almost like an Eagles green. We can go
Yeah.
with that, right?
All right, right on.
go
Yeah,
birds.
there you
know
Go
it.
birds.
Go birds.
EGLS.
Shout out Russ.
Sorry?
I said it's a good time to shout out Russ.
Oh yeah, our friend Russell Edling did some really cool artwork for the record.
Truly the best.
He plays in a band
Person.
called Golden Apples, and they're also awesome.
They are so good. Oh my god. Russ, so Mike and I were in a band in high school, and a neighboring town, like Russell grew up in, and his band at the time called the Mother Daughter Team, and our band played a few shows together.
They were like a real band though. They were like
were
good.
so
It was
good.
crazy.
They were so
They're really cool.
fucking good.
They just kind of like, I feel like usually like when you're in high school, there's a band who is popular, but like, you know, they're fine. Their band was genuinely like a good band right out of the gate. It was crazy.
Oh my god. And Russ writes the best songs, and all of the folks that are in this Golden Apples sort of like collective, like all the people who have like contributed to their music are just the best Philly musicians. So please listen to Golden Apples if you get the chance, and also just take a look at all the art on a ton of Philly musicians, because Russ is just like pumping out the coolest stuff.
He's a machine.
He's a machine.
Yeah, he rocks.
Oh yeah. What was the decision to go with the Eagles green?
It was second.
Yeah.
So we wanted to go like the first time we got vinyl for Gentle Day, our second LP. We got like yellow variant as like a sun, like, you know, whatever. So we wanted to go with another yellow, right? For this one, but they ran out.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, I don't know if we can get it in time. We'd have to go to Canada, and we're like, look, don't do that. That's
Don't go to
crazy.
Canada for us. We'll
Yeah.
take green.
So green felt like a good. It's still like a pretty like natural. I feel like there's a lot of green and yellow in the artwork, so it felt like a pretty good
Oh yeah.
compromise.
Because there's, so I'm looking at the artwork obviously, in like the, because it feels like the same green that's kind of like right in the back, I think right past like Mike and Steve on the right hand side of the artwork.
Yeah.
I feel like it's that's like the green that we're kind of looking at with
Oh,
the
yeah.
cassette.
That's a good call.
So
Exactly.
you know, it ties right in.
Right on.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
Good chance to shout out our friend Matt Bailey, who
Oh yeah.
took the picture. That was a really fun day. We just like went around our neighborhood and just took a bunch of pics, and we ran into this spot that has all these sunflowers, like super tall sunflowers. And Matt's like really getting into like film photography. He's an incredible photographer. Also has a sick ass podcast called Your Morning Breakfast.
People,
And-
I hope you're making a list at home. We've shouted out.
Yeah.
Every
Sorry, I
single
just like
person
I
we know.
can't,
There's
I
gonna
can't
be
help it. Like
a
it's just
follow-up
it's
clip.
just the thing. Like
all
there's
good.
so many.
It was also 105 degrees that day, I think. And I'm not kidding. I
Yeah.
think it was at least 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So we were like cranking the AC in the car and like wiping off our foreheads the entire time. But
Yeah.
Honestly, anything for it was like we were in the prairie, you know.
Yeah.
It was the prayer.
we were surfing on the sunflower.
I'm gonna chill. I just can't help but put on for the friends.
It's all good.
That wasn't a dig at all. I was just saying I hope you were taking notes at home
Yeah.
because there's a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, did I forget to remind the audience as well that you got to take a drink every time there's a shout out to anyone?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a given.
Okay.
What are you drinking, by the way? We're drinking Modelo.
So on this episode, you know, I've been drinking a lot of like hams and PBR over the last week, so I needed something a little bit lighter. So I picked up these simply spiked lemonades.
Oh, right on.
Ooh, okay.
Lemonade is my
they're-
favorite thing on this planet. So
Yeah, they're decent. I mean, because there's a blueberry, a watermelon, strawberry, and a regular lemonade. And I think I picked the right order to drink them. I started with the blueberry, which was pretty tart and okay. Went to the watermelon, got a little bit better. Now I'm on the regular lemonade because I love a good strawberry lemonade, so I'm saving that one for last.
Yeah, this is like cold
Ooh.
ones.
I
Right?
love it.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
cold ones. Yeah.
these bad ones.
that's sweet.
I think any like listening to our music and drinking anything lemon flavored is I subscribe to that.
Yeah.
Well, see, I was thinking today when I was listening to the record, I was like, I feel like this would be a good record, and I don't know if any of you have done this yet. I feel like this would be a good record to just get high to and just like lay back and just vibe the entire time with.
Mhm.
Interesting.
I would suggest doing that
Yeah.
for sure.
It's on my list for sure.
If it's in your means and you want to, you know.
What did your mom say about the one song that it sounded like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole
That was
album.
like, yeah, one time I showed my mom some of the music, and she's like, "Oh, it's like I smoked a joint." I was like, "All right, I'll take that."
Smoking
just
a
like
joint with your friends or something. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a really good
Truly
way of saying it.
the
The
best
music
review
made
that
it.
we've ever gotten is Patsy
Yeah.
telling us that it's like she was high.
So
Um,
I would say "Mirror at the Bottom of the Pool." That song would probably be great.
That's
high,
a
so,
doobie
Yeah,
roller.
it's a doobie.
Yeah. If you sync it up to what movie is it? Syncs up perfectly to The Wizard of Oz, right?
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, that song was mostly tracked live. We just like hit record and did a couple takes, and then overdubbed like a little bit of synth. Wanted to try and do like a spoken word poem to it, but it sounded insane. So now it's just musical. Yeah, that one's fun.
You know, I know we did our drink segment. I know we've kind of hopped around a little bit on this record, and before we transition, I just want to make sure like I didn't miss anything. So, is there anything that might have gotten missed between Sleep for a Week or Sun God that you want the people to know about?
No, I feel like
Not really.
we've been definitely
we're
like
touching on
I
it.
think we're definitely mostly to blame for the jumping around. So I feel like we're pretty. pretty good.
There's no one to blame. I loved everything. I loved like all the little things that we talked about with this album.
Sweet.
Because there was things I feel like you guys even brought up that I wouldn't have even thought of, or even like your stories of like the time recording and like who did what. Like those are nice little tidbits to kind of know about this whole album.
Right
Yeah,
on,
for
yeah.
sure.
I say just listen to it front to back. I know that's like pretty obvious, but I
Yeah.
think when we do like a full length, we always have the intention like you're gonna sit down, listen to it front to back, and maybe it has a vibe that you like. And that's why, like you said, that it sounds like it'd be nice to smoke and listen to it. Like
Yeah.
I that's like kind of what we go for, not the smoking and whatever, but just like that cohesive vibe on a full length is I like that. I appreciate that stuff in music I listen to. So
Yeah.
like I like the album, and then our EPs I think are just like us kind of doing the same thing a little bit, but changing it up, maybe experimenting a little bit. That's kind of the pattern we've been in. But
Yeah, the flow of the record was pretty deliberate. Like we met up once, we'd recorded everything. There were like a couple songs that didn't make the record. And I feel like I had like an idea of how I thought it should go. Then the three of them all agreed pretty strongly on like a different vibe. And to their credit, it was definitely the right decision. So
yeah, we axed them, we bullied them to play
we
hard.
literally sat down for like 3 hours
Yeah.
and we're talking about it. So like I feel like it is meant to be listened to in that order, and it makes sense. And you guys were totally right. So yeah.
Also, it kind of lends itself for the songs that didn't go on this LP. There's 3 of them, and I love all of those songs so much. And
Not enough to make the record. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
not
They're
enough to
coming.
make-
They're coming out too.
not
Yeah.
enough to make this record, but to sit together. There's 3 songs, and like particularly, I was just like looking at the tape, and our friend Sal played sax on 2 songs.
Sal, shout out Sal.
Shout out.
Shout out
Take a drink.
Sal.
Take a drink.
We love you, Sal. It was really fun, and he did it at the bunk too, which was so great. He came up after, like he was it like our bud Sal loves jam bands and going to festivals, and so we went to one in the like
Poconos.
Montage Mountain probably, and came like straight from the festival to record some sax for 2 songs, and
He had to shower first. It was
he did have to
imperative that he
shower.
first.
he was stanky. But the tape has a bonus track with Sal playing on it. Michael, I sent that to you like with the MP3s and the waves.
Okay.
But that was another fun like collaborative thing, and I don't know, that's like where I get the most joy out of doing this with friends, is like all the collaboration. So
I think it's
Yeah,
You're sick.
I love the flow of the album because, you know, like you guys said, it flows very well throughout the entire thing, but it also doesn't feel like it's not like a forward heavy LP. Like, yeah, there's
yeah.
some good songs in the front, but it doesn't feel like all the good songs are in the front. Like it takes you for a nice ride, and you're there for the entire thing.
Appreciate
that. Yeah,
That's really sweet.
I feel like that's definitely a thing that I feel like traditionally the singles are usually like 2, 3, which I think we might have even done on this one. But like, I feel like bands are pretty conscious of that, and like we want it to be deliberate, not put everything right in the beginning, and then be like, all right, cool, you can turn it off after track 4, because that's just I don't know,
Right.
No.
it's no fun. Nah.
Honestly though, like throwing campus at the end was like a thought that Mike had, which like really fits, and it's a great ender, but it at the same time we were a little torn about like, oh my god, this is a single, so traditionally like throw it up in the front, but like putting it at the end just really caps the whole thing off.
I think it's like the closing credits for the record a little
Really
bit.
is.
Yes.
I know we're recording currently in early December 2023. This episode does come out 2024. So what can people kind of expect for Sun God for your 2024 year?
Probably more rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
I think we're gonna play like we're in a good steady flow of like, as you know, a DIY band. We get to play a show or two a month, and that's like, I feel lucky to be able to do that. So we get to do that here in Philly and meet cool bands that come through and get to play with all our friends that Will had mentioned. But like honestly, Will's kind of, it's like a good example of how all the friendship in the community in Philly is pretty dope and helps each other out. So feel pretty lucky about that. So catch us in Philly.
I don't think we're recording music for a while, for the first time in a long time. Like I feel like pretty much since 2018 we've like written and recorded music consistently. I feel like people are always like, damn, you guys are always releasing stuff. So I think we're gonna put out like the B-sides, like Will was saying. And then I think after that, hopefully just play some shows, like hopefully make our way out of Philadelphia for a little bit. Cause I feel like we've mostly played Philly, Pennsylvania shows.
I don't leave Pennsylvania. I've never played outside of Pennsylvania.
I've never left Philly.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully play some
Straight up
shows.
Charlie Day.
Like outside.
What do we like?
Hopefully play some shows in different areas and get some new ears on the record. Because like, it's a bummer to release something and immediately release something else and not have a chance to play stuff off of that. Because like, definitely something we're like proud of. So hopefully a lot of shows.
Well, everyone listening, make sure if you're, in the Philly area, keep an eye out for shows. And maybe if you're not in the Philly area, shoot them some messages and be like, get them to your town. Maybe get them out of Philly for a little bit.
Come to Brazil.
If they
Get us out of Philly, please.
buy our tickets and we'll be... No, and also since we don't leave Philadelphia, we could shout out one more shout out. I feel like everybody needs a drink, but Mike is in another band called Web Wing, and they're touring all the time. So
All the time.
check them out outside of Philly. They're a dope ass rock band, and yeah, we love them.
Yes, we do.
When you're in Philly, you have to come see us.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, we'll talk links here in a little bit, but we're going to transition to the later half of this episode, which is always my favorite part of the episode. Not to say that, our conversation hasn't been fun. I've loved every minute of it. But I always love hearing some good stories from you guys' town music. So this is where we kind of talk about some fun stories, whether they're shows, tours, time recording. As I normally say, they can be anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between. The way I like to think about it is think about the stories that you always reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually the stories that I love to hear.
Yeah. Okay.
Michael, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
On this podcast where we're drinking a lot of beer, how do we work in bathroom breaks?
If anyone needs to get up, you're free to go use the bathroom.
Right.
The only person that has to ask to leave is me.
All right.
So,
I'll be right
good.
back.
Steve, do you have any good stories?
I'm not leading this one.
Okay.
I don't know any I mean, we don't really tour, so it's like we can't give you any tour stories. We have played some like very strange places. That's another thing too. We kind of at the beginning we accepted a lot of stuff, so it found us in strange basements, weird living rooms, and strange bars. Like, but I don't know. I can't even pop song.
We played a weekend with our friends. Name drop. Shout out. We played a weekend with Lowercase Roses and Pedal. We played like a show in Philly, then a show in Lancaster, and I think Labrador played the Philly show too. But we played in Lancaster, and it was just the three of us, and we played this thing called like the Southern Market, which is like a big open. It's like the size of a city block with like a bar in the middle, restaurants, some shops and things like that. And it was 3 hours of music, and it was really fun because we just kind of like played for no one. People were there, but no one was like engaged. It wasn't a show atmosphere. There was basically just like a PA system and a tiny stage. So we played 45 minutes maybe. And we played for like, the elderly and some children and a friend
We're big
surprised
at
us.
the elderly community love it. We did have to play a bar one time where it was so tiny and like strange, where we had to have a lane so people could get to the bathroom, and they'd like walk in between the band. And at the end of that night, the bartender, I think he was like, sipping on his own supply a little bit. He was an old man, and he passed out as we were leaving and slipped and fell. And
He wasn't charging for drinks
Oh,
all
that-
night.
didn't charge for drinks all night. Nobody paid, and that one was a wild one.
Yeah, that was funny. I remember we were like loading out, and he's like passed out on the floor.
Yeah.
And
We checked if he was okay though. We got the okay.
this
but
other regular was walking by. I was like, "Oh my god, like, is he okay?" He's like, "Yeah, he's always doing
Yeah.
this shit."
So it might
Just did it
happen
for attention.
weekly, but I mean, I'm not gonna shout them out, but I kind of shouted them out. I'm not gonna get into specifics, but that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mike wasn't there though.
Yeah, I
Oh,
wasn't
true.
around.
We played with John that one.
Yeah.
I was talking about the piss lane.
Oh yeah.
But do you have any crazy stories from Sun God? We're fucking wild.
Yeah, we're the most
We're
tame
wild.
Yeah.
people in the world.
They
We're
can also,
prairie
like,
surf.
I'm about
Good
to
old
crack
LaCroix.
open this LaCroix.
Um,
That's it.
the first show Jordan and I played in 2013, I think.
Mhm.
Steve was in another band back then called Anchorhead, who was awesome.
Shout out.
And they were playing a show in Allentown, and they needed another band to play. And I just hit up our friend who was booking the show and was like, "Yeah, we'll play." And I don't even know if I
Yeah,
asked
that
you.
was our first show.
And we just played like 5 or 6 songs acoustic. So nervous. I feel like we probably played very quiet. We had no business being there, but there was a documentary about it, so it was very funny
Yeah.
that like
We
our
made the
first
doc.
show was documented. I really don't think we had any business playing the show,
No, we
but
killed
it
We
was great.
killed it.
Yeah, there are some touring band, like some members of Transit were in some other band and were like playing or something like that. It felt very funny to be like, why is this our first show? I don't know, very weird.
We have credits. We're on a documentary.
Yeah. Now, what was there just a documentary crew there because, or was there?
Yeah, I
like, a
didn't know
certain-
anything was going on.
I didn't know at the time. It was about the venue. It's a venue in like the Bethlehem, Allentown area that no longer exists. It was called the Secret Art Space. The Secret Art Secret Art Space,
Yeah,
I think,
so.
something like that.
Yeah.
But they just did a documentary on that place, how it was a cool little DIY venue in the middle of nowhere, that no longer exists.
And there we were tuning our guitars to our phone.
Yeah, and I think they called us the Sun Gods. Which
Yeah. Which,
Oh,
hey, that made sense.
That's
Me and you
fair.
just sitting up there with acoustic guitars. We're the Sun Gods. When Will and Steve entered, we became Sun God.
You're an actual band. Yeah.
I do have a question for you guys real quick.
Mhm.
Just because, obviously, I always talk to people and they're in different scenes, and people always, whenever you see like tour flyers, you always see like certain venues listed. Like I think there's like the Unitarian Church is like always listed for a lot of shows in like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Philly area. But what would you guys say is like your go-to or like favorite venue in that Philly area?
This is a great question.
For me, it would be Johnny Brenda's,
Same.
which is honestly in the neighborhood that we live in too. So like, I just love the vibe, the sound in there. There's like, it's small, and there's like a balcony. The stage is kind of small, but always sounds great, and it's in the neighborhood. You don't have to go far. but seriously, it's like it's
the
like
best.
legendary.
It's
great.
really the
It's
best.
great. It's so good. I would go with that. That's like my favorite, I think.
Yeah, I like recently discovered a couple of bands there just by, like spontaneously going down to see music. They've got great food
Mhm.
and great drinks. And it's a very unique second floor venue with a balcony where they do comedy shows and
Music, and I feel like we've been going there since we were early 20s, probably. It's the best. I also
we're
for
in
like
our like 60s right now.
we're in our late 60s.
That's how long it's
musically we're like geriatric.
It's almost
musically we're
over,
there.
guys. It's been a fun ride, but also if you're looking for like a slightly bigger like venue, I think Union Transfer is a fantastic place to see a lot of artists, and I've seen some amazing shows there.
I feel like we've played a lot of venues multiple times too. Like we like I said, we play Philly a lot, but like we played Ortlieb's a handful.
Ortlieb's is great. Yeah.
This is awesome. It's like an old jazz club that's just kind of in a cool part of Philadelphia. We've played there a handful of times. We used to play at this place called the Anthorna Gallery, which was this weird little warehouse in the middle of nowhere in like Northwest Philly called Gray's Ferry. And they just had like they would just host shows all the time. I don't know if it was fully legal, but it was awesome. And then there's an art space.
It was a weird ass vibe.
Yeah, there was some strange shit going on at that point. That's a weird, like at one time we played there and it was like just a warehouse full of huge ass rooms, and like a couple rooms down I think they were filming like a horror movie or something, but it was like I guess a ritualistic satanic thing, and it was a great way to enter our show. Like you had to walk through it. It was kind of fucked up. Though.
You had a pool of blood.
You had to walk through the murder room to get to
you
our
did.
show.
Yeah.
But also, you're in the middle of nowhere. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yo, that was the show where they like in the other direction there was a rave going on, and the people got so fucked up and started to like spill over into our show. And
very different vibe.
I think it's a mattress factory.
But yeah, then last but not least, we play a venue called Space 1026 as well, which is like
I love that one.
I think that place has been around for like 20 years. It's like a historic Philadelphia like art space that is very cool and has like comedy, performance art, music, like you name it, any kind of thing. But yeah, we definitely have like played our fair share of places in Philly, but in terms of like the coolest one, I feel like Johnny Brenda's is definitely the coolest.
Yeah.
Yo, good point on Space 1026 though, because they're bringing in so many great bands, and they have this beautiful courtyard in the back. It's so great.
And to bounce off that, I know also for anyone that's hitting the Bandcamp link after this episode, there's also a live recorded set of Sun God at that same.
That's the greatest lie of all time. I'll let you take it.
Well, I kind of forget how it germinated, but I think we were just practicing the set, and we just like recorded it as we were practicing it, just to see where we're at. Then we were like, why don't we put it on a CD and sell it at the show that we're saying it's live from? And honestly, it's the most underrated joke we've done. Nobody gave a shit, but I love that.
It was like you could go like back in the day, you could go see Metallica, and as you're walking out, they would say like, "Hey, here's a recording of tonight's show." They would like hand it to you, and we're like, "Oh, that'd be so funny if we did that." And no one,
we have them though. If you want to,
yeah, we
do. We have?
I think we at least still have.
It sounds like they're on Bandcamp.
Yeah,
that was. I think that was our first
for sure. The digital is, yeah.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
That's what Jake, Webbed Wings, Sun God, Bronco, and Cave People.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was such a fun show.
First Webbed Wings show, first Sun God show.
Yeah. Oh shit, that was the first Webbed Wings show?
I think so.
That is so cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Crazy.
Pretty wild. But yeah, we'll send you a CD.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We've got
my people will contact your people.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
And I think Steve, you're up. What would be like one of your favorite venues in the Philly area?
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Brenda's and Ortlieb's were already said, so I guess I gotta come up with a.
You got this,
man. I don't know. We never played this because we weren't fully banned at that time. But one of my favorite venues to shout out that is now closed is Everybody Hits. And I mean, like, if you know like Philly DIY music scene, like everybody hits, and that was like such a good spot for music back in the day. It was a batting cages spot by day, and then at night they would throw shows. It was perfect.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
That's the one that got away for us. We never
Yeah.
got to play there, and I wish we could have.
So many cool shows. Like
They-
a lot of bands like that you would see there before they like whatever.
They freaking
before
blew
they-
up.
Yeah.
They
Well, I think
fucking
I saw that band
blew
like
up.
is it
Yeah.
Beach Bunny or something like
Yeah.
that? I saw a show
Oh,
of
yeah.
that band and it's like that's a crazy place to see that band. It doesn't make any sense, but I bet it was awesome. Yeah, a lot of cool shows there.
I was
Yeah.
thinking of like the Spirit of the Beehive show that we saw there. So sick.
Yeah.
Oh man, good call, Steve.
Good
Great
one,
venue.
Steve.
I wish it was still.
And then
around.
after the show you just shag some balls. It's great.
Damn, you shag them?
Did you shag?
Is that not a phrase?
Yo,
I think
actually, the
shagging
coolest-
is when you're in the outfield.
Oh.
No, wait. I think the
I was having BP then.
Yeah, you're having batting practice.
the two things about this venue is that they did like baseball cards of the artists
Oh, the bands that would play.
that played there, and
What?
so they had this wall of like truly like like trading card
Mhm.
looking things of the people who were playing these shows, and it was I don't know, it was just so
Very
it was
cool.
it was awesome.
That is very badass because I know I know a lot of the people that tune into the episodes are aware of Fochella that happens every year in Bowling Green,
yeah.
Ohio. And
That,
for
that just
that,
happened, right?
yeah, back in
Like
I
a
think
month ago?
October.
Yeah. Sure.
But for that they also do like I think it's like the first like maybe 50 to 100 people that come into the show each day. They get a trading card pack of cards, and each one is a different member from one of the
that's
bands
so
that's
sick.
playing.
That's
Really
So-
cool.
that rules.
I've never been to Coachella, so I just get the FOMO of like seeing everyone post about it every time. But then you see people that are like always like tweeting about like, okay, I got so and so from this band and so from this band, or like you see someone that's like, I was able to trade around and I got like the full like band, like I got like this
Yeah.
collector's set basically,
There's like
and
a,
that's so
second,
cool to do.
a secondary market to get like the full band of I don't know. I can't think of a good example of band that plays Coachella. Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what Fochella is, but I love the baseball card thing. I think we could get something going there with the band, like with bands.
Keep it going.
The way they have like jerseys on the cards, like game worn jerseys.
Yeah.
Set list.
Cards.
It's like set
Yeah.
pieces of the set list or something. Picks, yeah. All right.
You're onto
Picks-
something right
picks
now.
and sticks.
Yeah.
No, but all those venues aside, like sound like super sick. I know, like we kind of joked about when we first started the episode, that I've hit so many different Philly bands. I know at some point I've had a few that have been like, you need to just come out and like go to a show or like hang out for a weekend or something. And it's definitely high on my list to finally get to visit Philly. I've only driven through Philly, so I've never actually stopped and like
Oh man.
done anything. So
You've had a terrible
Michael, you
time.
always have a place to stay in Philly.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got-
I will let you guys know. We will
Yes,
have some
please.
ODs. We will have a good time. But I
You
hope
got
to
the-
also check out some of these venues as
Emojis.
well.
Hell yeah.
You just got the worst of Philadelphia. You got 76, 95, 676.
You got the wrong.
You gotta see the
Yeah,
good
because
stuff.
I'm trying to think that tour we were coming from, like I think we had just played like Rochester the night before, and we were probably playing like Ohio the next day. So it was literally just like drive through, and then I think I was snapping in the back, and someone was like, "Hey, we made it to Philly," and then someone obviously plays the "It's Always Sunny" theme song, and then we're like,
Yeah.
"Cool," and then
And
you
then
know,
You're out.
already out of the city.
So much
the
more,
quickest
my
trip
love.
ever.
But what are you gonna do?
That's a great way to experience the city.
Yeah, we drove past the stadiums and got
Yeah,
to
there you
see
go.
everything in the daylight. It
Oh
was
yeah,
great.
you're
I'd say-
on 95.
Yeah, I think going down 95 during the day, it's like
Talking 95.
it's a cool vibe, a cool view. So you experienced it.
Yeah,
Do any of you know the name of the song from Always Sunny?
Yo, I don't.
Oh,
It's a-
something.
No, it's-
Is
It's
it-
like
It's
a
something like
free
really
form-
weird.
What's the thing like where you don't have to pay for
Royalty free.
royalty free
Yeah.
song, right? Yeah.
It's called Temptation Sensation by Heinz Kiss.
Yeah.
I used to have it like on my phone
God damn. That's a good one.
back in the day when you would do that.
Everyone uses it like on TikTok for stuff for like certain
really?
videos. So like you always see it like pop up. It'll
Oh,
have
yeah.
the Always Sunny like logo, and then it'll still say like the actual name of the song, just because they've used it
Temptations.
forever.
I'm pretty sure it's Temptation Sensation. Yeah.
It's a good name.
If I'm
Sounds
wrong,
right.
flame me in the comment section.
Yeah, light them up.
He's not even a true Philly fan.
Yeah. Hey.
But we won't get into that. But yeah, like as we wind down here, you know, in like I said, in typical Philly fashion, you guys have been amazing guests. You know, Philly's killing it. You guys are killing it. Everyone go listen to Sun God, because you know this album is killer, and you know, pray rock forever because it's fucking amazing. But I know we've had a great conversation throughout this whole thing, and I really like to end off episodes on a high note. So my question to the four of you is, in your time with Sun God, what has been your favorite moment that you've experienced?
Oh, that's really good.
Holy shit.
No, I actually wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
I think I have a
It's
quick
just
answer to
recorded
that
forever. It's fine.
one. You asked about our favorite venues in Philly, and we all kind of unanimously said that we love Johnny Brenda's. And not too long ago, a band had to drop off of a show, and they asked us to play Johnny Brenda's, which was like a kind of like a dream of ours, just because we've seen so much music that we've loved there, and we practiced a bunch, and I think the set turned out really well. We played a couple of songs from this new album before it was released, and it was just extra special. It was one of my favorite things because, like, truly, like, you're getting at the heart of what it is. Like, why do we do this? And like, I think making music with my best friends is like, there's no better way to spend your time.
Yeah.
And so to get to do that at a place where we've fallen in love with bands and listened to our favorite bands, that was like, that is my moment in Sun God, where I just absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I'll go with that one too. I like that. I honestly just like writing music with these guys. That's like, it's hard for me to think of a moment. I just kind of like the moments where we're writing together and then playing shows, and
when it finally clicks, like when a
yeah,
song
when it
like
clicks,
yeah.
So we don't really put pressure on ourselves. Like, you know, the big record labels aren't really pressuring us to.
Oh yeah, our label.
Yeah, our
It's
label's
pretty
nice. But yeah, and Johnny playing Johnny Brown.
You're right though. Those like those moments of like all the hangs in between and like writing and collaborating,
meeting all the people.
Steve?
Probably like playing the Late Show, or
Oh yeah, when Max Weinberg filled in for you on drums that one time.
yeah.
that was wild.
Damn, I don't know. Yeah, Johnny Brenda's for sure. That was dope. Honestly, I think just like recording at the bunk. Shouts out Matt Schimmelfennig. You know, I'd been, you know, for as long as I've been living in Philly and like going out to shows and like seeing Matt out playing with his bands and stuff, and like being able to record with him and like get input on music, that was really cool. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of cross paths in that way.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, Steve definitely took mine too. I was gonna say, I feel like recording at the bunk. I feel like at the bunk you get to be the best version of yourself a little bit, because you get to just like kind of, like I said, focus on music all day, hang out with Benny the Golden Retriever, work on like songs. Like, I don't know, it's a cool collaborative thing. Just like work on stuff with your friends.
I think their website's called atthebunk.com. So if you check out any of the shout outs, if you're still recording the shout outs, check that one out, because there's some good music that came out of that spot, and we're pretty lucky. So
for sure.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's a good answer.
Yeah. The bunk or I guess we should shout out the band that asked us to play at Johnny Brenda's too, was a band called Downward from Oklahoma. That show was great. A really great show. So Yeah.
That's all our shout outs. I think.
We love the homies, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any more shout outs before, I think there's people that are probably
Oh,
starting to get up from the
we
floor.
could-
They just might
yeah.
need to go back
Well,
down.
Shout outs, beers with bands.
Yeah,
Shout out to this
shout out you, Mike.
podcast.
Yeah.
Much
You roll.
love. I appreciate that. Like I said, this has been a great time. Record's killer. If anyone's looking for merch, music, or Sun God in general, where can they find it?
The internet. I think Sun God PA on most socials.
Mhm.
Sungodpa.bandcamp.com is where most of our merch lives. We might have a YouTube channel. I think we
We have-
do.
Yo,
We do.
you know what we do have? We have a Yelp.
Another failed venture. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
we tried to get people to Yelp us, like maybe if they go to see us play a show,
They can like review us.
but it didn't
Yeah.
catch on.
Okay.
We're a band of ideas, Michael.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was like
That's
it
the
was like-
first I've ever heard a band saying that
Yeah.
we started a Yelp. Like you can
I
find
thought
us
it
on
would be-
Yelp.
Could you hit us with some 5 stars on Yelp?
Yeah, if you could go and rate us, that'd be
We
sick.
thought it would be very funny, but it turns out you just get a phone call every 6 weeks from someone who's like, "Hey, thought you were a business. Turns out you're a band. You're pretty good. Keep doing it." It's like, I have so many voicemails of weird, like
That's all we
entry
need.
level employees just being like, "I don't even know why you guys have a page, but all right, that's cool."
It keeps us going.
Yeah. So if you come see us or listen to our record, review us
Yeah,
on
please
Yelp.
Yelp us.
Good,
Please.
bad, we don't care. It's fine. It's the stupidest
Yeah.
thing we ever tried to do.
Forget like the Apple Music and Spotify reviews. It's all about the Yelp reviews
Yelp.
2024.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
That's amazing. I love that so much. I got to find that link and put it in the description for everything. And in the description, depending on where you found this episode, you can also find whether you found this episode on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, or you watched the YouTube version and got to see their lovely faces like I did. Check the description below. Hit those hyperlinks. Follow them on all the socials. Stay up to date. Be ready for new music in the future. Shows. Maybe them getting out of Philly and you get to see them in somewhere that's not Philly. And also look for that Yelp link so you can go give them the 5 stars that they deserve.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
One last big thank you to the 4 of you for taking the time out of your Tuesday to sit down with me, have some Modelo's while I had some lemonades. Looking real like a bitch on this side. And I didn't have any Modelo's today.
No
It feels
way.
weird.
Yeah.
No way.
Good.
Michael, this was so great.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks for listening to our music too.
Yeah,
Seriously.
That's what we love the most. So
Of course, you guys
Come
are
to Philly
killing it. You
sometime.
guys,
Hit us up. We'll hang.
I will let you guys know.
Sure.
I got to work some things out. Maybe 2024 is the year that I finally venture to Philly and just try and get someone to throw a party and just have a good time and invite
Yeah.
all the Philly bands that I've talked to.
That'd be
Oh, yeah.
sick. That'd be
Love
awesome.
it.
I'll let you guys know for sure. You guys will be very top of that list.
Right on.
But other than that, one last big thank you to you guys, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, dude, of course.
Catch you next
Later.
time.